And let me turn to you, Ilaria. You have spent the past few years advising and developing ESG and thought leadership for Grab. Grab, as I'm sure all of you know, is one of Southeast Asia's most well-known tech giants that IPO'd on the NASDAQ a month ago as the largest SPAC listing to date globally. I know that you have lots of impactful stories from the work and relationships that Grab enables in the region. Would you be able to share some of them with us?
Of course. Well, thank you for having me. It's such a privilege. So I do wear two hats. I'm the tech and social impact advisor for Grab, the operating company, and I'm also the chairperson of Tech for Good Institute, which is a think tank that is founded by Grab, established in order to aim to bring together tech companies, public, private sectors in the Southeast Asia region to harness tech for good to help nation build. Because it's such an interesting region right now. I'm in Southeast Asia. So Grab, actually, I'll rewind a little bit. It was founded around 10 years ago by two classmates, Anthony and Hoiling Tan, when they were at Harvard Business School, when they took a class called What is Life and Business Like at the Bottom of the Pyramid? So it is with this view of life at the bottom of the pyramid in Malaysia, where they're both from, when they started bringing this mobility concept that Uber had started to Malaysia at that time when it was very perilously dangerous, especially for young single women to take a taxi late at night. They had to use a human GPS basically to be on the phone with someone to keep accountable so that they don't get robbed or killed in a place where you cannot track where taxis are bringing people. Now that's how it all started. And very much so, as the super app at that time was just a single mobility app evolve, then they realized there's a lot of needs, and it is by responding to these needs in the region that now it became a super app that has mobility, has financial services, has delivery services. And financial services include payments, loans, microinsurance, wealth management products designed especially for the masses, and also delivery services in food, grocery, and parcel. And now Grab operates in over 400 cities in 8 countries now, which is a little crazy. I'll zoom up a little bit because I think the most impactful thing about Southeast Asia region, minus Singapore, is that most countries are still developing, and the middle class in our standards is yet to form. So we will see something like 6 in 10 people are still unbanked or underbanked. They store cash under their beds, and 9 in 10 people have no credit cards. And loan sharks will prey on these financially illiterate people. We all know, for example, Filipino helpers who are all over Hong Kong, they get preyed on a lot by loan sharks, and they're not financially included. And so as Grab grew the mobility business, they realized, we actually need to open bank accounts for our drivers. Many financial institutions said, no, how do we help them open bank accounts? How do we put them on the map? Cars are very unaffordable, especially in Southeast Asia, relative to income. How do we actually help lease vehicles so that it's more affordable for drivers to own them? And then later on, we realized we actually need to not only help these drivers and merchants open bank accounts, we need to give them loans so that they can actually send their kids to school. They can buy a second motorbike, for example, in Indonesia or Malaysia, start a goldfish selling business on the side, all these things that could help them thrive and upgrade into the visible economy. Grab started responding. That's how we became actually now a fintech company, as well as a delivery services company in a region where, even though so many are unbanked and underdeveloped and underserved, over 120% of the population is mobile penetrated. Some people have 2 cell phones, even though they don't have a proper home. And that's a region of over 670 million people, to double that of the USA in Southeast Asia. So it's a very exciting place to be in. I'll share more stories later, but I think what we love, for example, over a pandemic is we were able to bring farmers in rural areas, for example, in Philippines and hawker centers in Singapore, we bring them online for the first time. So these people are completely out of their comfort zone, digitizing for the first time, but it's very critical in increasing efficiency of their business and eliminating middlemen by using technology to help respond to their everyday needs.
Yes, that's definitely noted. Grab has been solving very practical daily pain points, which, a lot of us probably don't think about when we go about our daily lives. So yeah, thank you for sharing those. But I'd like to continue with you, Ilaria. Continuing on in regards to, all of the stakeholdership and stewardship, Grab is so big now. In the West, tech news often makes headlines, and they involve heavy criticism from governments and private institutions. So my follow-up question is, in which ways do you think the role of tech or innovation can continue to impact its ecosystem and greater society positively?
Yeah, what a great question, isn't it? Every tech company now, especially bigger ones, are under heat. I really think it's a very important thing for us to know that tech itself is neutral. It is not positive or negative. In fact, if utilized correctly, tech is extremely useful in upgrading the standard of living. It can democratize, it can equalize, it can give a voice to the voiceless, it can have limitless possibilities if done right. So I think that having the right regulation is important. Having the right management leadership to make sure you're stewarding your technology is very important. And most of all is, are we thinking about serving people, especially the masses, or are we thinking about creating products for other reasons? And that will actually dictate the mission and the future of, I think, a technology company. So I'll give you maybe just very two simple examples of why what I Grab Anyway and Tech for Good Institute and some venture capital investments I've been involved with. I have seen a common theme amongst very successful founders who are doing great things, such as Lucy and Peggy as well, to harness technology for good, is they think about inclusion. They think about connecting people, and they think about lifting up people and eliminating barriers rather than creating them and making it harder for people to access a better quality of living. Grab, for example, is all about economic empowerment. So in terms of economic inclusion, Grab wants to support, like I said, farmers from outer regions of the cities so that they are not able to sell their goods properly. Now, because of technology, they're able to do that in a very quick, trackable manner where they can even have credit proxy, meaning that when they don't have previously bank accounts or any form of credit, now there's a way of recording their regular payments, regular income, regular revenue. They can now go to a bank to get a loan. It's usually very difficult for normal people. It's only available to the more elite parts of the countries in Southeast Asia. Give you an example too, in terms of farmers. We recently, during the pandemic, had a campaign in Vietnam to help sell lychees directly for farmers from farms as the market were impacted by COVID-19 in a deadlock. So in just under 5 days, over 100 tons of lychee were just pre-ordered through their platform in Vietnam. And this is an example how in agriculture, tech platforms can also help connect multiple parties. The second thing is actually financial inclusion, which is a natural bridge from economic inclusion. So I mentioned about fintech, so Grab Financial Group, which is within Grab, they are all about designing fractionalized financial services, meaning let's make it a piecemeal, small amount wealth management or insurance products. So, if many of us are not, if we're not privileged enough to open an account at UBS or Goldman Sachs, that's just for the very elite part of the world. You can go buy a $20, $10 wealth management product and start accumulating interest and investing that way. We call that fractionalized micro everything products. So actually Grab does have a mission to make growing wealth and buying insurance as easy as ordering a ride on the app. So for example, one of our drivers, who's a sole breadwinner in his family, he had to pay a lot of premiums, micro premiums over 5 months, over 1,500 trips, and he accumulated coverage so that eventually, when he got diagnosed with cancer, he thankfully was able to submit a claim and get some of his hospital bills offsetted. That actually usually rarely ever happens in Southeast Asia. So we're just really, really glad to be a small part of this and see people able to have a better quality of life by responding to their needs with these technology products, and also with upskilling. I think the last point I'd like to make is teaching people financial literacy is so important. So we literally have offered courses. We partner with Microsoft to run digital literacy programs to help people to upgrade their skills. One of our drivers, who was laid off as an aircraft inspector, now is a software engineer and he works at Grab. So he has a completely different life now, and we hope to see many more of that in the region of Southeast Asia.
Wow, thank you, Ilaria.